Parents' views of informed consent.
To me, informed consent can mean a couple of things. I think first and foremost, I tend to think of the piece of paper that's put in front of you right before surgery, where you need to sign. Essentially, you've been told all the risks and complications and that sort of thing. That said, I think that there's so much that has to get you to that point that you're actually comfortable signing that piece of paper and kind of heading into surgery with your child.
Yeah, I agree. I think you don't want any surprises when you get to the point that the form's being signed. It's not really the time to be weighing risks or what the benefits are of the procedure. So I do think that, to me, informed consent means having a good understanding before you make the decision to proceed with surgery as to why it's needed, why it's being recommended, what it entails, and what the possible risks or other complications could be from it.
To me, informed consent is all those things, and it also, for me, starts with the minute the procedure or the surgery is mentioned. When we start that discussion, that's when really, for me, when the informed consent begins. From that first contact with the surgeon, the nurse practitioner, the nurse. And it's also knowing what to expect afterwards. It's so important.
Aligning expectations, questions, and uncertainty.
As a parent, certainly as a first-time parent coming into surgery, you don't even really know what your options are in terms of what you can ask for. You don't even necessarily know that you can escort your child in some cases into the surgical suite or to anesthesia or whatever. And so I think some of us have just learned the hard way. And what might have been helpful is to know sort of what's the, to have someone ask us, do you want us to come and get you and bring you down before your son comes to, and you can be there, but you don't know to ask about those until you've been through it and learned the hard way.
In our experiences, I believe that the surgeons have actually done a fantastic job outlining what's going to happen during the surgery and the possible complications. Our challenges tend to come in the recovery period when unusual complications have emerged. I can't say that they haven't outlined them for us. They have, but part of the challenge that I think physicians face is that that's only part of what creates our expectations. There's always this hope and optimism that the things that you don't want to go wrong won't go wrong, and so that even though when you hear the possible risks, when they're presented to you in a way that they're very unlikely, and you're hoping for the best, it doesn't mean that your expectations are necessarily shaped in the way that you need them to be.
It would be really nice if sometimes we just looked across the table at them as people and they looked at us as people, rather than, I think sometimes they have an expectation that they have to meet or they feel they need to meet, and sometimes just those human moments really make the difference in the conversations.
And I think, building on what you said, I think that it's that candor. I mean, maybe not everybody would want this, so I think that becomes the tricky part on the physician side of trying to figure out what's going to work for this patient and family. But at least for me and our family, I don't want people to sugarcoat things. I want to know straight up there are a lot of uncertainties, X, Y, Z. As you were saying, here's the expected or hoped for outcome, but it could go this direction, it could go this direction, and we need to be prepared for that. And here's what, as best we could see, here's what that could look like as well.